Hey everybody, Tom here with Hidden Beats, and today we are talking with Juno Award winner Kay Anthony. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, how are you, Tom? It's a
Pretty
pleasure to
good.
be here, man.
Yeah, it's congratulations on your award win. It's got to be a pretty nice thing to hear.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is. I'm elated.
hmm So we're here today to talk about you, about your music, and about what you bring to the world. But for those who are new, can you give a little introduction about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Jamaica. I was born in Montego Bay, grew up in Falmouth.
Okay.
I My first passion was track and field, and my mom, after getting a scholarship for a particular high school called William Knibb, decided to send me to a private high school, Harrison Memorial High, in Montego Bay. After graduating, I wanted to pursue uh, agronomy.
Okay.
But when my mom contacted the school, they weren't accepting at the time. And so she felt as if she said, hey, why not study music for a while? And I obliged and I got enrolled in the music program.
Okay. Who were some of your early influences in music?
My early influences in music, uh, I listened to more boy bands, I would say.
Okay. Okay.
And my dad had old records, like Charlie Chaplin, and I think from one of my favorite singers that I've heard my dad played is Otis Redding. I just like the soul that he brings
hmm
to music. And then as I got older, I would say I like Fred Hammond, John Legend, yeah, those type of sound, I would say. And of course, I'm from Jamaica, so I like reggae, Bob Marley, and
hmm
and some others.
Yeah, I was listening to some of your music and you can feel some of the island influence in there.
Mhm.
It's nice to hear kind of that mix of the sounds.
Yes, yes, thank you.
So what made you decide to pursue gospel and like adult contemporary style music?
Yeah. So I grew up in a Christian household. However, when I was about 12 years old, I had an encounter. I almost drowned.
Okay.
And so it was an interesting moment. It was the time I would say I encountered God because I realized I was dying and I had no other help. And so I said, I remember the previous week, the pastor was preaching and said, hey, if you're ever in trouble, you can call on God. And so for the first time, I think since my existence, I tried it. And God's, in my mind, sent someone to save me at that time. And I committed my life that from that point on, I will serve God.
Okay. I mean, that seems like a pretty eventful moment in
It
your life. Yeah.
it was, and to this day, it's a big part of my life.
hmm So what do you think makes your music unique over someone else's?
What makes my music unique? I think it's for me. It's simply um, it's like my Tom and yours is different. We have different fingerprints, and so naturally, how I perceive life, how I approach life is a little bit different, and so in its own uniqueness, in our own uniqueness, I think I can appreciate things about you, and you can naturally appreciate things about me that we both possibly don't necessarily have in common or behave the same way or think the same way. And I think that comes over into the music. And so I think that's what's different. What I think is my difference comes in who I partner with.
Okay.
My gift partnering with yours make it something special.
That's a nice way to think about it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, talking about the Junos, you won the Contemporary Gospel Album of the Year for Arrow, which you released in 2022.
Yes.
How did the whole journey for the Junos feel for you?
Ah, such a surreal moment. I was very surprised
Mm-hmm.
because there were so much talented persons a part of this nomination. So I put in a lot of work. I've been dedicated, and it feels good to know that people actually appreciate what I'm doing. And yeah, it's just a moment where you can relax and say, wow, you know, it's just a great thing for people to show their appreciation for the fact that you have been dedicated to this craft.
Mm-hmm. And it's also because I would think it's nice because it's from your peers in the music industry too.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct.
So the album itself, what was the story behind Arrow?
So the story behind Arrow is we are the arrow. I am the arrow. And so for me, God is the master archer. And the master archer know the destination he wants the arrow to be at.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes there's a climatic condition around that can hinder the process. However, the master archer know how to use all the elements that is attacking or perceived to be attacking to guide the arrow to the right spot,
Okay.
bullseye.
Mm-hmm.
And so my life has had some challenges, some difficulties, some hardships, a little bit of pain, a little bit some happiness, sunshine, some rain, but still God has been able to guide me. Even I have been some hindrance to my own self,
Mm-hmm.
but God still have used that to bring about some beauty
Yeah.
and allow me to be accurate at where I'm supposed to be at the right time. And I wanted people to get a feel of who I am as a person, what God has done for me and God is doing for me.
Okay. So if you had to introduce people to your music, like a brand new person for the very first time, what's the first song they should listen to then?
Free. A
Okay.
song titled Free. Yeah.
And why that song?
It's taken from a text, John 8:36, whom the Son sets free is free indeed. Free indeed. And if you watch the video, in it, I'm blindfolded and bounded. And so there was a point in time that's how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
Through the love of Jesus Christ, through his blood, I have been set free from all the situation, the mess that I created for my own self. I'm free because of him. And so I want people to have that. If there's any doubt in their mind, if they're actually going through what I've been through, I want them to be able to see that they themselves can be made free.
Okay. That's actually the first video of yours I went and watched is free and just and it was simple, but it was powerful because it
Yeah.
was the video itself. Like I do photo and video work also.
Oh,
So
cool.
so looking at everything, how it was done was interesting.
Okay.
So I'm curious then, if we go back to 2024, you have Heading to the Top. How
Yes.
how do you think your music has evolved since then?
I've matured. Um, I'm way more patient, and I've always been intentional. But as you grow, you get even better at the things that you're good at.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think one of my best assets is being able to form friendships and work with people who are, I think, is a better voice in the room than myself. And so there's beauty that is created through that. So I've gotten better, I would think, in songwriting and very mindful of who I'd want to work it on which specific song. Because I do Afrobeat sometimes. I'm a piano. They are not necessarily very well. Afrobeat is now probably the most focused genre in terms of what people are liking now, coming through the whole COVID
Mm-hmm.
situation. Afrobeat, this shot to the top. And so it's a genre that is closely related to genres of my culture back home in Jamaica. So I do some of that. And I do some quote unquote Christian contemporary based on the Nashville style. Like Free is one of them. And so, yeah.
No, that's good. I like that. So
I'm eclectic, I would say.
yeah, eclectic is a nice word. I like that one. So what do you think is one of the hardest parts of putting together, a project or an album, something that you hate doing every time, but you know you have to do it?
What's the hardest? Putting together a project. Oh, spending.
Yep. I think that's the
Um,
hardest for everyone.
yeah, I think for most independent artists, budget is the biggest factor. Um, but for me, God has always provided and made a way. Um, Sometimes some artists go through the inability to write.
Hmm.
Um, but there's a way to deal with it. You know, just for me, it's just take some time, relax, go out, having normal conversations, um, and you'll be able to come out of that little spot. Uh, yeah, I think finances and not being able to write is what most artists would face. Yeah,
Yeah, those are two difficult ones, and the
yeah.
music industry is very crazy sometimes. There's a lot going on, so it's hard
Mhm,
to get
mhm.
past some of those. What do you think is the best way that you stay grounded outside of music?
I have I have friends who are not yes persons
Okay.
around, and so I have accountability partners who want to see me grow and be the best of the best self. And
Hmm.
so it will be hard for me to be some other way. My wife is probably my greatest support, my kids, and my best friend in Canada. Um, he's a doctor in Ontario. He always keep me grounded. You will say,
Hmm.
"Hey, bro, I think that's not the right direction." Um, Even with songs, he's not the one recording, but if he hears something, you will say, um, "Why did the producer do that? Why didn't you guys?" And he will stick to it until I either be able to explain it, or when it's finalized, you will say, "Oh, I get what you guys are doing." So it's actually having people who hold you accountable, and I do definitely.
Yeah, my wife is the same for me. She holds me accountable for everything.
That's right.
And then to keep like I have a daughter now, so she keeps me busy if I need to get my mind out of my office and get
Yes.
here. She's definitely a handful for sure.
Yeah.
Hmm. So I have fun questions I like to ask in all my interviews, and especially on first time
Mhm.
interviews. And I think you might have a unique insight for this one.
Okay.
What do you think is one thing that should be asked more in an interview that's not asked enough?
Wow. Simple question, but that's one question that I believe could ask more in an interview.
If it helps to think about it, maybe if you're watching an interview and you want to know something about that artist.
Something about a person.
Mhm.
Hmm. You could ask, I think these are typical. I don't get them a lot, but a little bit more about the person's interest when it comes to food. Um,
Mhm.
if they had, if they possibly had any first love before their current focus or current field, um, I'm trying hard here.
Mhm. It makes you think really,
It
really
makes
hard
it, yeah, it
because
makes
there's
me
lots
think.
of things that can happen.
possible genealogy and if there's anyone in your family that have done music before
Okay.
or done the field that you're in. Yeah. Yeah. What's your educational background prior or currently? Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of questions you can think of for sure.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm. Now, what is something on your go-to playlist that somebody might not expect that you're listening to?
Da, 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 da. I listen to a lot of Connor Price.
Okay.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I think he's dope.
Hmm.
We actually met at the juniors and chatted about possible collaborating.
Oh, that can be fun.
Yeah, I think so. He's very talented, man. I have much respect for him and I think I see something in him that I think he has a little bit more than myself, and it's his dedication and his hard work. I really like that.
Hmm.
So I like his ability, his writing is phenomenal. Yeah, he's the person I would say that I'm listening to right now.
Okay. Is there anyone else out there that you think would be a really good collaboration for you?
Uh, for sure. I'd like to do a song with John Legend.
Mm, that would be fun. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you guys would have a very good chemistry for how you do everything.
I think so too. I think so.
Hmm. What is some of the best advice that you've been given during the start of your career that you still hold on to right now?
Oh, this one is easy. So my second PR, I migrated to Canada. Her name is Kiona. She lives in the US. She was blown away with my packaging and how I presented my bio, everything. And she said, I'm gonna ask of you to do one thing. It's like, okay. She said, be consistent. And
Okay.
I took that. Yeah. And I took that seriously. So I've been consistently releasing music and music that I would have labored over and making sure I packaged them well.
Hmm.
So that's one thing, just being consistent.
Now, what are some of the things that you need to be consistent in? And we are releasing music, but what else is there?
Consistent in release, consistent in the quality that you put out.
Okay.
Just overall consistency with your packaging, um, consistent with how I was releasing videos because I was releasing songs almost like one song per month.
Hmm.
Um, and then even for this project that was nominated, I put together videos for almost all of them, and then for one specific one, I did something big.
Okay.
Or for two or three, I'm probably wrong. I did a much bigger budget videos. Yeah, just consistency in excellence in terms of how you deliver and how you put the work together.
Like holding yourself to a higher standard almost.
Higher standard, yeah.
Mm.
I might not be with a major label, but I work as if I'm at a major label. Making sure the quality is not missed. I hire the right persons who I know can give me the right sound, and make sure I am consistent in making my vocals better each time.
Hmm. Now, how about social media? Is that been an easy thing for you to get into?
So probably that's the one that I'm the least consistent about because I don't do a lot of. I'm not the type of person to go on and say, "Hey, this is what I'm doing" and stuff
Hmm.
like that. I'm trying to get there, but that's probably the hardest part for me. Putting myself out there all the time. There's two. I tell people I have two sides. There's a very social side, and then there's a side I like to just be tucked away and just be in a zone.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's probably something that I can be better at.
But you don't have to put yourself out there as much. You can just put other things out there. I watched an interview recently with John Cena from wrestling.
Yeah.
And it's funny, he was talking about his Instagram. He makes it a point to never post anything that
Mhm.
makes sense. It's always just random, and he never puts any explanation why. So it could be just a picture of a camel one day and you have no idea what he's doing, but people are drawn to it because it's like a question of why he's doing it.
Yes,
Those are always fun, I find.
yes, yes.
So this is another fun one I like is who plays you in the movie of your life?
Go again, go again.
Who plays you in the movie of your life?
Who plays me in the music? Probably my brother.
Yeah. You think
Yeah.
he can do you
Probably.
justice?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I think that'd be pretty interesting for sure.
He's taller. He's lighter in complexion, but he knows me very well.
Yeah. Do you think he can do you justice in the music world though?
No, he doesn't sing.
Have to give him some lessons and see if he can get a little bit in there.
What's funny, I used to so I started singing in church in a group, and I used to pull him into the group until there was a point where he's like, "No, bro, this is not for me."
Just can't like I like to sing, but I find I'm tone deaf sometimes, so I can't hit those notes and
Uh-huh.
everything. But I can hold a
Mhm.
note for sure though.
I think anyone can learn.
Hmm.
I've taught voice lessons for a bit, so I know anyone can learn.
Yeah, it's all there. And I'm doing it more for my daughter to help her have
Mhm.
fun because she loves her Disney music and things like that. So I'm sitting with
Ah,
her and just having a good time for sure.
yeah, yeah.
So last couple of questions I have, and probably the most important is what do you hope people take away from your music?
Hope. I also hope it gives them a sense of peace and that the their current moment might not be going well, but they can be optimistic. And for me as a Christian and a believer, that they will find Jesus or find God in it. Um, Big on that because of my experiences and how I was raised. And so if if I bring you to Jamaica right now, where I'm originally from, I would want you to have the best time of your life and introduce you to some of the best food ever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of what I've experienced. And so because I've experienced Jesus, I want people to experience him also because he has been good for me.
Yeah.
So I treat it the same. Yeah.
And I would absolutely love to experience some of that Jamaican food for sure.
That's it.
I,
Some
I'm a
jerk,
big boy, so I'm a guy who really loves some good food.
some jerk chicken.
Oh man,
That's
mouth
it.
watering right now. What is your motivation to keep pursuing this music career of yours?
A sheer passion. I'm a person that whenever I start something, I will see it to its completion. Um, just my belief in bringing hope to the world. Uh, my family, who again is a big support in what I do. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's a nice one. Last but not least, probably the most important question is, are you happy?
I'm very happy. Um, Happiness is not dependent on your current state, or it
Happiness is
shouldn't.
a journey, I think.
It's a journey. Yeah.
Hmm.
And so this moment you might feel a little bit sad, but not so long ago, outside was very cold. Then the sun came out and it's warm. So I
Hmm.
don't judge happiness. I try not to judge happiness based on anything necessarily emotional. But happiness for me is just simply just the fact that I'm alive.
Hmm.
I have people I love and people they love me back. Um, Simple things. I have a roof over my head. I've clothes to wear. Yeah, that's how I try to find my happiness, and not necessarily in material things or what people expect
Hmm. Yeah,
me
I
to
think
have.
that's a good way to look at it for sure.
Yeah.
because there's so many other people in the world right now that, aren't exactly in the scenario that you and I are in. So
That's correct.
be happy with what you have for sure.
Yes.
Well, that's all the fun notes I have written down here. So you just won the Junos. What's next for you?
Some more music. I'm currently in the studio working on a project. Um, I'm hoping that I will do more performances. Just partnering with different people, doing some collaboration, doing just great music, inspiring, giving hope. And I said, for me, to top it off, point people to Jesus Christ, what he has done for me. Yeah, continue working hard.
No, I like that. If you ever get to Ottawa, where I'm based, I'd love to come out and catch a show. And
You're in Ottawa?
yeah,
I sang in Ottawa. It's sometime now. It's probably 20, mercy, 18 or
okay.
19. Yeah, I think that was the time I came for a concert there. But yeah, hopefully I should be back at some point.
Well, I'll definitely be there. And one of the other things I do is I cover live events. So I
Okay.
photographer stuff and I do reviews and everything. So
Oh, cool.
I can come out and definitely make a nice piece for you for your show.
Yes, yes, for sure, for sure.
Is there any final words of wisdom you'd like to leave to people before we sign off?
My favorite text, Proverbs 3, 4, 5. Proverbs 3, verse 4 and 5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path.
It's a powerful one there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, my friend, it was great to get to know you and learn more about you and your music and what makes you tick.
Same here, man. I appreciate you, Tom. It's a pleasure to be here. It's always a pleasure to share my gift and to bring some light to this world.
Mm-hmm. I hope we get to do this again sometime because we're gonna stay connected and keep up with
Yes,
each other.
yes. Thank you, man. I definitely look forward to that.
All right, well, we'll sign off. You enjoy the rest of your day and happy Easter weekend.
Yes, thanks. And same to you.
All right, bye now.
Blessing to you and the family.
Same to you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.